Good evening to one and all present here. My name is Pavai and I will be presenting about the topic called Inomic. So the Inomic is meaning like innovation during pandemic and how can innovation help us battle the COVID is all about my topic. So innovation is basically a set of new ideas, creative thoughts, full of imagination and discoveries and so on. I can just go on describing about what innovation is. So innovation is one of the most important thing to withstand today's market and that too in this COVID pandemic time, it is the best way where you can withstand the market. So what characteristics of innovation? Innovation is in product, service, and process. Innovation can be either through a product or either through a process or either through a service. Now, what innovation through a product is? Innovation through a product is like, the mask, the PPE kits, your ventilators, all this innovation through a product. Innovation through a process is you have to process those innovation in such a way that it reaches the public or the society. Innovation in the service is like transportation is the best example. How can you help the farmers to sell their goods to us in an innovative way? As there's no transportation during lockdown or during the pandemic time, so they just put all their vegetables or fruits which they grow in the garbage. So in that way, how can you help them? Innovation comes to the action there. Now, innovation has an impact on society now, past, and in future also it will have an impact. So for now, wearing a mask is made and compulsory. So there is shortage of N95 masks throughout the country. So we can ask the government industries to help to make production of PPE kits and the N95 mask, as the government industries are they are not in sales or they are not in production or manufacturing. Now, innovation is an improvement. Improvement, if I have to say, like I could say that in a laptop, there's only one way I can put charge, that's in the right side. Why don't I make a laptop where I can insert a charger even in my right side as well as in my left side? So that comes to an increment. Now, transformational is like if I have to say that you can in your phone you can put a thermal screener, small thermal screener. You can, if you're going to office or college or anywhere, you can just scan your own temperature by just scanning yourself, and it just shows rather than using the other ones scanning temperatures. So that's one way of transformation. Now innovation is a team activity. Innovation always works best when you're there in a team. As when you're there in a team, there will be a lot of innovative ideas. You get more ideas, and then you work to a group, and then your activity, your process and development becomes like you can do everything in a shorter span of time rather than longer span of time. India stands at the 52nd position in Global Invention Index according to 2019. So we will have to bring India to 25th position or 24th or to the 15th or 20th position by 2021. Now, how we do that is, let's see the next slide. So Triple I is invent in India. Now, what is this invent in India? All this, all the many employees, especially the IT employees, they just go to the foreign countries and they work there. They invent there and they sell it for their country. Especially the IT people who go from our country and go to America or any other countries. They invent for them and they sell it for them. So why don't we change that thing to, you be in India, invent for India. And next comes make in India. So this is, everyone knows what make in India is, right? So when invent in India, like for example, you have to say, America has invented the Dell laptop. Dell's owner is in America. He's an American. But their main manufacturing plant is in China. So he's invented in America, but the product is made in China. So that's when you make it as made in China or made in India. So why don't we invent in India itself, and why don't we make in India itself? So that's a simple concept of innovation out here, where we can make India in an innovation way. Now, how to implement your ideas? Now we will have a lot of ideas. Now, how to implement your ideas? In the sense, you'll have a lot of ideas, but we don't know which one to implement, how to implement. So let's go ahead about that. You have a lot of ideas. So let me say you have idea A, B, C, D, and E. But I don't know which one to launch in the market. I don't know how to launch. What I will do is I will research on all these 5 ideas first. After researching, I find out that idea E is not a particular thing. I'll keep it in future, but I won't use that idea as of now because it's not a particular situation which can help to battle COVID. I can say like that. Now, after research, you can say development. I have to develop this idea A, B, C, D. That is, I have to make a model or I have to make a module to put it in the market. Now, after development, I found out that idea D is not the perfect match for the COVID scenario. After that, I test all these 3 models. After testing all these 3 models, I find out that idea C is not working out in this particular scenario. After testing, I launch idea A, I launch. So this is how you implement your idea and launch your idea to the current market. Now, next slide is, where does innovation come from? Innovation, the best example, how does innovation come or creativity comes into you is, schools will be having all these CC activities, co-curricular activities and stuff, and they ask you to do best out of waste competition or best out of waste thing, like reusing and recycling the product of plastic and paper waste. So you create them into a basket, or you create them into a paper, the hangers or something. Sticky notes. Now, sticky notes, you might be asking how sticky notes is a creativity. I'll tell you how. If we don't have sticky notes, okay, in majority of them, and I used to do that sometimes. When I don't have sticky notes, what I do is,
Okay.
I used to tear some pieces of paper into a shape, and then I used to stick sellotape to it and then stick it to the wall. So that's kind of a homemade sticky notes. Reading a lot of book, yes, reading a lot of book, you get a lot of knowledge and a lot of creativity skills. I'm sure many of you like Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, and so on. I can go on. Cooking food with leftover food. Yeah, cooking food with leftover food. How means we if the old rice is left out at home, and we don't feel like eating rice in the night, so what we do, we make paddu or paniyaram, or we make vattal is like papad. I make that. And next come art and craft. I don't have to tell, art and craft, when we are small, we used to do different types of art and crafts, different types of you know stuff throwing here, making the entire place around you dirty. That's how you were when you were kids, right? Now, doing it for a social cause, in a sense, like for example, I see a woman, old woman or old lady who's carrying a cart full of watermelon and going, and she's not able to push. So in that case, I see her. I should do something for her. Why don't I create a small mobile booth kind of a shop for her, which is compactable, where she has place to sit, where she has a place to live, something, a small house for her. So I see her and I create it. So that's when you see others and you feel like creating for them. That is also one type of how way on how innovation comes or creativity comes. Now, how can innovation help people during COVID or pandemic? So let's go. Employment. During the lockdown, the factories were closed. So the migrant workers or the laborers, factory laborers, didn't have jobs to work, didn't have jobs to earn a proper living. So here, how can you help them is, since globally there is a shortage of PPE kits and N95 masks, why don't we help them out by giving them an opportunity to make give them an opportunity to make PPE kits and the and mass. So that is one kind of an employment opportunity which you can give them. Next, education. Now the biggest pandemic is the online pandemic as well, because not all students get access to online facilities, because not everyone in their house will have the software like laptops or mobiles, but few houses will have television, right? And there are few students who are who can't hear or who can't, like, disabled. They are like mentally retarded or disabled. So how can we help those students? Now the government has created 5 cable channels for standard 9th and 10th, that is TACTV, SCV, TCCL, VK Digital, and Akshaya Cable, and the channel number is also given. And of course, they even created a YouTube channel for the students. Or now, what about the disabled people? Now, disabled people is, you need to first do a data analysis. You need to do a, analyze how many percentage of the education in the education system, and that students are mentally or mentally disabled. So after analyzing, you can put a small camp in a particular area, in a particular state or a particular area, and you can maintain social distancing by having, you just sit down, you ask the student to sit, and then you have a three-sided shield, a transparent shield around them, and then the teacher will teach you, so by which you're having a social distancing as well, and through which they're even having a uh, education going on. Entrepreneurship is nothing but business. During pandemic, all the small scales and large scales have also been affected. Now, how can we help them during innovation? I mean, during COVID, using innovation. The simple example is Wildcraft. Wildcraft, he knows that during the pandemic, there's no schools, there's no college, there's no office going on. So people won't buy his bags. Wildcraft is a bag. I'm sure everybody will be knowing, right? It's a bag brand. So Wildcraft is a bag brand, right? So what he has done is, he has, instead of manufacturing bags, he has started to manufacture masks. So he knows that the necessity for the hour is masks and PPE kits. This is the way how you can uplift your business. Rather than he knows that the need for the hour is masks, so he started manufacturing masks. So this is how you're supposed to think innovatively. I should, if I own a garment shop, I can't sell my like kurtis or my churidars or my saris. So why don't I sell the mask, because the need for the hour? Why don't I sell PPE kits to a medical field, because the need for that? So that's how you think. Next, transportation. Since there was lockdown, farmers, like how I said, since there was lockdown, farmers couldn't afford to sell their products, because there was no transportation, so it all went to the garbage. They dumped it into the garbage. Now how you can help them is, you can use drones, like you can create an app, and let the farmer also have that particular app, and you want to let me say, you want to buy a potato, 1 kg potato. So you can just click 1 kg potato into it, and then after that, the message just goes that the customer want 1 kg potato. So what he can use, he can also use drone. He can just put the 1 kg potato into the drone bag. Next come the COVID safe. So now this COVID safe is useful for transporting the COVID patients from one hospital to the other hospital. Like if the patient's health is deteriorating and they don't have the proper facility to treat him in that particular hospital, he can be shifted to the other hospital. So how this works is, this machine, something like VentiCube or ventilator kind of thing, has all the facilities for COVID, like the oxygen pumps, the ventilators, all the things which are necessary for a COVID patient when his health deteriorates. Now how this works is, can you see there's 2 holes out here? Yeah. So this can help the uh, uh, yeah. So these two, if you put your hand, the doctors can just put the hand into these 2 holes, and they can just test the patient or the check the patient, due to which they don't come in contact with the COVID patient. So that indirectly, they don't direct or indirectly don't come in contact with the COVID patient, but they are safe from from not getting COVID, right? Next. This is all the same thing like the Kobe safe. It's called air evacuation pod. This is mainly meant for the pilots who should not get the COVID-19, as when you're shifting a COVID patient from an island to other place, so you need to airlift them, right? So in that case, what is the guarantee the pilot also will not get COVID? So this is one way where the Indian Navy has created the COVID-19 air evacuation pod. Next come Rudar, a low-cost ventilator. A team of IIT has created a low-cost ventilator for just 10,000 rupees. So it is still on the process. It's not yet. They are just keeping on testing. They have not yet launched it. So I think it will be launched soon. Now, the touch-free sanitizer dispenser. The Defense Research and Development Organization has created an sanitizer dispenser, touch-free sanitizer dispenser, where you can just put your hand into it, under it, and you get the sanitizer, and you can just sanitize your hand rather than touching the bottle sanitizers kept around. This is same way. This is also a sanitizer dispenser, but it was invented by a student of University of Petroleum and Energy Studies student. It was in with the guidance of two of his professors. So he is going to get patent for this machine in around like August or September. Now, this is an innovative way of distributing milk. How many of you would want this way of, milk? Milkman distributing milk with social distancing, right? He uses a funnel and a pipe. So he just pours the milk into this funnel, and it comes out of the pipe, and then the customer takes the milk. So it's one way of, you can maintain the social distancing and you get milk also, right? So that's nice, nice innovative idea, right? And that too is a small guy from a small village, and getting this type of idea is very different, right? So next, this is a brake chain model. Now this brake chain models was invented in Kerala. Now, so this is basically made for campaign. It was a creative campaigning idea made by the Kerala government, where they set wash station and the in major parts of the Kerala government. Major part of the places like the railway station, bus stands, malls, or even to grocery stores, and they tell you on how to wash your hands, when you should sanitize, how can you prevent COVID and stuff. And it also allows you to take helps the doctors to take patients to take a person's COVID test from the phone booth itself. So that was one innovative idea from the from Kerala. And there are actually more. Now, like, if I have to say, necessity is a mother of invention. Like that, we have the IRCTC coming onto action. Since there was no bed, all the beds were getting filled so soon because of the COVID patients. So this IRCTC, what they have done is they have introduced they turned train coaches into a quarantine facility, or you can say a medic facility or something. So here we have we have a bed, and each compartment has approximately 3 to 4 patients, and it has also has a ventilator in it, and it also has a small room for the doctor and for the medical supplies to be kept. So I think it's one of the great ideas to be appreciated by the IRCTC. Now, around the world, we have a lot of innovation. So I've taken only 3 of it. So this is Devi Rahayu from Indonesia. She created a mask for deaf and dumb people. So normally, this deaf and dumb people, when you wear a mask, you talk and they understand from a lip movement. So when you wear a mask, how do you expect them to understand what you want or what you're trying to say? So she has created a mask, a transparent mask, where she has set a transparent mask in the mouth place in the mask, where people can wear that mask, and you can and when you talk, she can understand, or the deaf and dumb people can understand what you're saying. So I think it's one thing to be appreciated. Now, smartwatch. So Germany has created a smartwatch app with a startup company called Thrive. So this is still it helps you to detect whether the person has COVID or not. So this is still all are in the development process. They have to test it and then they have to launch it. Right. That's how you get ideas and that's how you're supposed to launch the market. So it's still on process. Maybe they will launch it soon. Next come a robot dog was used uh, for maintaining the social distancing in the park. So when when joggers or whenever you go to a park, so it was created in Singapore. So when a jogger or anyone walking does it blasts out a message telling that for your own safety and for your own for those around you, please stand at 1 meter apart. Thank you. So this is the message which this robot dog tell, and this robot dog name is called Spot. Now, apart from COVID, we have many other innovations. So I have taken, apart from COVID or before COVID, I've taken few innovations, not many, but few. So Hawasi Pani is water from air. So by 2030, 75% of the groundwater in our country will be finished. So what is the use of putting bores? So that time, so the IIT Madras students have created Havase Pani, where the water gets sucked into a filter and it purifies the air, and then that air gets converted into water and you can drink that water. And it was also proven that 80 to 85% of the water are present in the air, are present in the air in the moist content. So this is one of the innovative way, right? Using the resources around you. Now next, Nirmay. Now what is Nirmay? Nirmay stands for non-invasive risk assessment with machine intelligence. Now, Nirmay is basically found by Dr. Geeta Manjunathan. So she invented this machine for breast cancer in women, not only women, men as well, but women are at higher risk for breast cancer. Usually, women are very conscious to go to the doctors for their if they suspect they have breast cancer. So what this machine does is you will just have the machine and you will be there. It scans your it scans your breast and it tells you that it spots the red color. If it is red, and it tells you what precautions or what measurements you need to take, which you need to go to a doctor or not. So that's one sort of thing which this machine gives you, and it is only the testing of this machine is only 125 rupees, and it is a non-touch and non-painful work for women, and it is you can if women can get tested from above age of 18 plus. Now next, Google is partnering with Madurai based Aravind Eye Hospital on an AI-based algorithm to screen diabetic retinopathy and detect the early onset of blindness. Now, how this works is due to the diabetic retinopathy, you get blind at a very young age. So, how this works is this machine out here. Can you see this one? It can either be worked through your phone. You can just scan your eye through the Android phone or through the eye scanner out here. You can just scan it and it tells you it tells everything: your age, your biological self, whether you smoke or not, whether you're diabetic or non-diabetic, your BMI, your blood pressure. Or else if you have to go to a doctor, you'll have to check everything separately. Go to take a blood test separately. For that, you need to take a blood sample. You need to take a sugar test. You need to take a separate blood sample. So it tells you everything about you. So this is one such way where you can prevent your diabetic retinopathy from where you can prevent your eye blindness from the retinal diabetic. Okay, now this RIA a smart pad. So it was invented in Switzerland by Miss Lulia Kasim and a team. So about 30% of women are suffering premature birth. So if for example, how this works is the woman can just wear this pad wear this pad, and if this pad has some kind of a sensor in it. The sensor does not do anything to your vaginal area. It's just safe. So she just it just scans out whether you are going to give a premature birth or not. So if the scan comes negative, then you will have to take the necessary precaution well in advance. So that's one way which you can prevent premature birth. If it comes positive, then you will have to, uh, get admitted to the hospital there and then. A person behind inventing the first made in India COVID-19 kit, testing kit. It is Meenal Devak Bhosle. She is from My Labs Discovery Solution. So she delivered her baby just before giving the COVID kit on time to the country. So my lab is currently producing approx like 15 to 25 kits per day, but slowly they will increase their production. Now next, how to keep your innovation safe. I think everybody know about patents, right? So IP, intellectual property right, has three types, that is trademarks, copyright, or patent. So let's see the first one. Copyrights. So now copyright is basically given for 60 years, or even if you're, even after your death, it is given. So copyright is basically given for your literatures or for your drawings or for the writing skills which you get. So no one can copy or take your writing skills away from you. Like if you're a poet or if you're an author, no one can take that story or the poem from you if you're taken a copyright. Now, trademark, I guess everybody know what trademark is. It is basically for your logos and slogans given. So no one can take your slogans or logos away from you, or no one can copy that logos and slogans and from it is only valid for approximately 10 years. You can sell your logo or your slogans with your permission and you get the credit for it. Now next come patent. Patent is basically made, for example, if I create a machine, I get a patent for it. It is valid for 20 years. So I've invented it. What is the use if I keep the innovation only with me? I need to give it to the outside world to help the people, to help the people, right? So it is valid for 20 years, and you can get a patent for whatever machine you have created. Now, what and all you should practice? You need to read a lot of book during this lockdown. You need to do, you should practice to increase your creativity, your knowledge, or your your innovation. So you need to read a lot of books. You can do online courses, participate in hackathons, attend webinars, do a brainstorming, work with peers, gain cross domain knowledge. Cross domain knowledge is like, for example, if you're a commerce student, it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that I should not gain a knowledge of science student. It's my wish, right? I can gain knowledge of a science student. And if a science student, just because he's a science student, it doesn't mean that he should not gain a knowledge of commerce student. He can knowledge of commerce student. That's how cross domain knowledge is. Discuss with a professor for your product development. For any of your projects you have, you can discuss with your professor, with your higher authorities, and you can go ahead. Then practice diary writing. No, diary writing is something like, whatever you feel like, whatever you've done today or whatever you feel like writing, you can just write it. So that's one way of improving your writing skills. Then learn a new skill online. Learn a new skill through online, or any skill it can be. It can be your, you want to play a game, you want to learn computer, you want to learn anything, you can go ahead. A perfect time. It is actually this lockdown or this pandemic is a perfect time for making network connection, to build a network, to make yourself goal oriented, and a good time to improve your bond among you and your families, your friends, your colleagues. So yeah, and these are the few softwares through which you can learn. You have Udemy, edX, LinkedIn is different. LinkedIn learning is different. If you just put LinkedIn, it only comes for jobs or for network connection. And LinkedIn learning is for, course, for your certified course. You have solo learning. Solo learning is majorly for computers. It's completely full of computers. Or you have Coursera, you have Coursera, you have Swayam, you have Google Unlock. So you can just try these softwares if you're to develop your skills. Then these are few magazine which you can read during the lockdown. You can get it in the net. Yeah. And thank you.